January doesn't break men. It exposes them. It exposed me because most guys don't fail loudly. They fade quietly. And mid-January, the routine loosens, right? The gym visits thin out, the journaling stops, prayer becomes reactive instead of intentional, not because you're lazy, but because no one taught most of these dads how momentum actually works. So what I see coaching divorced dads, it's not collapse, it's actually a quiet quit. Quietly, it's slowly eroding because that's the patterns that most dads have had in their life. And it's a pattern that's wired into them. It's nothing that they've intentionally done. It's where your brain feels the safest. So if you're a divorced dad rebuilding your life, your mind, your relationships with your kids, man, just drop a sub and click the link and write a review. And I know that you probably don't want to do that. But I also want you to think about the other dads that every time you do that, you're literally sharing that with them. And it's helping another dad. It's helping each month. I'm literally talking to at least two dads that are desperate and desperate to the point of hurting themselves. You know what I mean? Feeling at that point and that low. And they need something to hold on to and a system. So just by doing that, I just want to say thank you in advance. I believe there's a million dads that are get transformed not just for their life, but for their legacy as well. Let's dig into this today. Let's get into why momentum dies. And most of you know a lot of the reasons why momentum dies. You know, we've all had moments of momentum. We've all had moments of glory. We've all had moments of wins. The data, what's the brain telling you when the momentum is dying, right? So what happens is dopamine spikes with novelty, not consistency. You know, I was listening something to about David Goggins about how he was having a conversation with somebody, and they were telling them about how they were going to join the Navy SEALs. And as they were telling me, you know, they get excited. And, yeah, I'm going to be joining. I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be doing that. Great. And then Goggins says, you know, they're all really excited until they have to wake up at 4 a.m. and they have to do that every day. So there's this initial dopamine spike about talking about what you want to do, and we've all felt it. I've been there. Talking about the vacation that I'm going to take and doing this with my kids, or that I'm going to become this kind of a man. I'm going to lose this weight. I'm going to get my mind in order. You know, you get excited about it. It's a dopamine hit. However, January motivation is dopamine driven. The new year clicks over, the ball drops, 2026, the big fix, right? But it's not identity driven. And the dads that I'm talking to, the dads like you, the dads like me, the reason why you're in this position, you're in this place, you're in this fogginess. There's an identity issue. And I'm telling you that because I'm talking to a lot of dads, 1,000 dads a month. And the identity is who you're becoming. And when those things get taken away and you don't have them and things aren't going your way, there's a loss of momentum. Some would call it motivation. And as you know, that, you know, discipline eats motivation for lunch every day. You know, we rise to the level of our dreams, but we fall to the level of our systems. And so this is where the novelty fades and the brain interprets it as, something's wrong. So remember that the brain prefers familiar pain over unfamiliar discipline. Familiar pain over unfamiliar discipline. It's why you want to stay in bed a little bit longer in the morning. It's why you'll say, it's okay, it's one more time. I'll start in a couple of days. I'll start next week, or, you know, I'll get that support when I'm ready. I'll get I'll get a guide or a coach or a mentor, or I'll get that guy to help me when I'm ready. I'm not quite ready. And our brain wants to keep us safe. And our whole lives want to keep us safe. And so what happens is that men go back to old habits. Why? Because you've been wired for decades to do things a certain way. So knowing better doesn't equal to doing better. Knowing better, you have another book you read, another podcast you get into, another YouTube video that you get into, and all those things are great. There are things that you know. The question is, what are you doing with what you know? And there's a gap. And so those of you that know in the school group, I'm militant about that. I'm militant about, hey guys, this is great that you're here. And many, unfortunately, don't even show up in those regards, because I truly believe that as you know, life is going to get harder. And if you show up, if you actually show up and do the work, there is a nearly 90% chance that you're going to get what you want to get. You say, whoa, Anthony, that's a little bit crazy, isn't it? Well, it's not crazy when you look at the data. The data shows us that when we set goals, we have a 65% higher chance to hit that goal. When you get accountable to that goal, that number jumps from 65 to 90% of hitting that goal when you get accountable. So many of you know that is accountability, the gateway drug to freedom. If you knew that you had a 90% chance of getting the thing that you wanted, why wouldn't you do that? What is really stopping you? And those are the fears. Those are the failures. Every single week on our call in our school group, that's what we unpack. It's fears, man. We all have them. We're not good enough, right? We don't have the right things, the right tools. I don't want to fail again. I don't want to put all this work in and then I fail again, right? So all of these things are working actively in your brain. And I want you just to, it's not a bad thing. I just want you to be aware of it, right? We can't change something we're not aware to. So you're aware to it. You're like, yeah, I know, man. I'm trying to figure this out. Well, that's what the brain's doing. It's literally trying to hold you back. It's trying to anchor you. It's trying to keep you safe. And you want to feel safe because you've been through hell. You want to feel safe because maybe you're not seeing your kids like you used to, right? Maybe the money isn't in the bank as it was before. Maybe the job isn't paying as much as it was before. And so safety seems so treasured. However, it's a travesty to live there. It will destroy you and it will take you down. I'm going to give you some psychology about this as well, because most men, they set outcome goals, but the nervous system runs on safety patterns. So we got to understand this. When pressure rises, the system defaults, not to values, but to conditioning. And this is where shame creeps in. So it's like this. Momentum isn't a wave you ride. It's a fire that you tend. And I can remember, I don't camp often, but I have camped and I have tended fires and I have been in those areas. And when you think of it, instead of the wave you ride of momentum, it's a fire you tend. It's active. Momentum is an active stoking of the fire, moving things around, a little bit of wind, a little bit of air. There's an activity of it. It's not just sitting, sailing, and riding a wave. And when you start to understand that momentum is cultivated daily, I'll give you a story about when I was with one of the largest Christian brands in the world. It's called Hillsong, and we were on a momentum like to a new galaxy. Everything worked. I tell people when you're in momentum like that, it's like pissing into the wind and you don't get hit. That's how crazy the momentum is. You could do the stupidest things and they still work. It's crazy, but it's also something that if you don't meticulously tend daily, it will get destroyed. And I was there at ground zero watching the demise of what happened to Hillsong because it wasn't tended to daily. It was this wave that you feel like it's going to go on forever, and it doesn't. And that's where you have to understand what's happening there. Fires don't go out instantly. So if we're tending this fire, it doesn't go out instantly. It dies when the attention stops. It's slowly. It's quietly. That's what's happening here. You're a slow fade, a little bit less, right? So in our fast system, some things that I want to share with you, just to refocus. Like, bro, just think. I was just with a client yesterday, and they were sort of a little bit all over the place. I said, okay, what is F? What is focus for you? What do you need to focus on? And what do you need to stop focusing? That's it. Where do you need to go? What's the line? So most dads lose momentum because focus shifts from process to performance, inputs to outcomes. So I need to ask you, what did you stop doing daily? What is the thing you stop doing daily? What is the thing you need to stop doing daily to be able to focus on the right things? Where your focus goes, your energy flows. We know that. Our thoughts are the ancestors of our feelings. What do you want to feel? What are you thinking about? What is you focusing on? You can change your feelings in an instant. If I said to you, hey, I want you to think about, your favorite vacation, when your feet are in the sand and the sun is shining and the ocean's beautiful, or whatever that might be. Maybe it's camping, maybe it's outdoors, maybe it's a mountain. And you could put yourself in that place and you close your eyes and you're like, that place was good. That was a good place. I can remember even now, just Hawaii is my spot, man. Feet in the sand, palm trees blowing, sun, blue sky, and maybe even some Hawaiian music in the background over the rainbow. That is a beautiful moment. And I can feel it. I could literally just feel all of it, right? In a moment, I can click off from there and think about something in the past where I was a failure. I could think about the divorce or whatever it might be. What I focus on, my energy is going to go toward. So I want to challenge you about your focus. I want to challenge you about your faith. Faith is obedience. Faith is doing the things you know you need to do, even though you're not quite sure what's going to happen. And so if we get into the accountability aspect, as we get into this, accountability is not motivation. Accountability is not check-ins. And accountability is not encouragement. It is someone who notices the drift before disaster. Someone who notices the drift before disaster. Like I said with the fire, it's the little things that you stop to do. Stop doing. You lose momentum. The fire starts to fade a little bit. Still warm, but not as hot as it was. That's what we're talking about with focus. That's what we're talking about with accountability. That's what we're talking about with awareness. That you begin to dissect and obsess over the things that most people don't obsess about. If you want to do something different in your life, you have to do different things. If you want to change, you've got to change. So most people are focused on external things in their life. I'm challenging you on the internals, these things inside of you, the beliefs that you have, the thoughts that you're focusing on, the man that you're becoming. All of those things are part of the accountability. So you're noticing the drift before a disaster. Your strategy changes. Momentum requires minimum non-negotiables, not perfect plans. So many of the clients that are listening here, and you guys know that I work on something with a mentor of mine, Dan Martell, who talks about 5 non-negotiables. And I think he's a really intelligent, wickedly smart. And I'm nowhere in that level. But you know what? I will learn. I'll use all the brains I got. I'll use all the brains I could borrow. I recommend the 5 non-negotiables. And he's got books about it, things about it, and they're helpful. Why? Because you're going to fall to the level of your standards. These non-negotiables are small things you do every single day, no matter what, that keep you on track to where you want to go. There's no drift. There's direction. Because of this, that's why they're set in place. That's why you know what to focus on, even when there's a whole bunch of things. Most days I have a whole bunch of things that come on my plate, and I say, okay, what are the ones that I have to focus on? What are the non-negotiables? Same thing for you. That's the strategy. That's the system that you're getting accountable to. Could be a physical habit. Could be a mental habit. Could be a spiritual anchor. Anything more, it'll collapse under stress. I don't need you to have a 15, page list of things that you got to do every day. Keep them to 5 every single day. Because what is that? It equals transformation. Transformation isn't intensity, it's identity under pressure. Your identity is under pressure. You don't think may not feel like you're a great dad. That's where I was at. Even though I was. You don't feel like you have enough because you don't have maybe the job or the finances aren't where they were. You can't maybe buy the things that you want for your kids. That doesn't change the man that you are. You might not be able to have the relationships that you once had. Maybe they're gone. Maybe the ex sort of, annexed those. Okay. No problem. No problem. That is a decision. That's just one thing. It's no big deal. You get to be able to do and to transform. That's not your identity. It's not who you are. You look at the track record. I talked to a dad the other day, and this is it, man. Like the simplicity of what we do and when I work with guys is we form the identity of what you need and what you want, and we obsess over it so that every day you get towards it, and every day you get closer to that goal, to what you hit. And your identity has never gone anywhere. it just feels like it's left. It feels like it's been taken away, but it's not. It's still there. It's always been there, and it will be rebuilt just as a muscle is rebuilt. You got to remember, most dads have never built their identity in truly a real identity. They've built it usually on exterior things. I know for me, my job was, if I had a cool job, I felt cool, right? If there was enough money in the bank, I felt a little bit better about my life. If I was able to do things for my kids, then I felt like I was a great dad. Well, when those things are taken away, then what do you have left? What have you built your life on? Again, guys, those of you that are here, man, it's a couple simple clicks. Subscribe, leave a review, help another dad. There's a million dads that are going to get transformed to rebuild their life in the next generation. If you haven't subscribed, share it, help somebody else. This is all of us collectively. Look, man, all the dads, you all know what it's like. We've been under the fire. We've been in the fire. If we can help and expand this snowball down the mountain and help create the awareness and the structure and the systems for dads, your life will change, their life will change, and the next generation will change. That's what this is all about. Romans 12:2. Again, guys, you gotta know this, that renewing your mind isn't a moment, it's maintenance. We're not conformed to the patterns of this world or the patterns of your life or the patterns of your decisions as it's always been. We are transformed by the renewing of our mind, by the daily renewing of our mind, by the daily alignment of where our mind needs to go. I'm going to give you a quick drift check, right? High value drift check, something you can do today, something you can think about, a couple questions, right? Ask yourself, what habit did I quietly stop? Is there a habit that you were doing that you quietly stopped? What excuse did I normalize? And number 3, what discomfort am I avoiding right now? Write it. Don't fix it yet. Awareness stops the slide. That's what we need. Awareness. Awareness stops the slide. It's like I said, get the stuff out of your pockets, put it down on the table. It's not going to kill you. Let's look at it. Let's figure this stuff out. Let's see where it's coming from, man. Let's see where it's coming from. The discomfort and the fears are going to be the things that transform your life. I know it doesn't feel like that. I know they feel like you can't breathe, that you may not want to live your life, but those things are the freedom. They are the path. The obstacle is the way. I'm going to give you a reset, a challenge. I gave you those questions. Let's do a quick challenge. Pick one habit you'll do daily for 7 days. Same time, same place, no negotiations. 7-day momentum reset. Why? Because consistently rebuilds trust with yourself faster than motivation ever will. We need trust with ourselves. We need to close deals with ourselves. We love it when we close deals in business. We love it when we close deals maybe with a girl, right? Oh, you feel good. You close a deal. You got a date. I'm not getting into that right now. But there's this win of closing deals. That is what I want for you. I want it for your life. I want it so that when you say something, you close the deal with yourself. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it for 7 days. I had a guy in our group, a great win in our group, in the school group. And he said he started speaking out positive things about his mind, about his life. We have some affirmation decks, some confession decks in there. I encouraged him to use them. I encouraged him to do them every day. He came back, he said, wow, I'm actually thinking better about my life. Huge win. He did it for 7 days. He's continuing to do it. He's now finding new solutions for things that he thought were impossible. So look, finally, lastly, if you haven't subscribed, you haven't shared, awesome, cool. I love you to do it. If you haven't jumped on Divorced Dads of America on Instagram, I'd love to know where you're at, man. Love to know where you're from. What's your story? What's going on? How can I help? And if you want a quick onboarding of that, jump in our school group. Start there. Start talking with dudes. Start sharing your story. Jump in our group call just to get warmed up. And those of you that are looking for an accelerated growth track, There's some spots in this next month. You can apply to work one-on-one with me if that's something that you're looking to do. I love you guys. I pray for you every single freaking day. My heart, man, pours out to you. I get emotional just thinking about it because I know how much the pain is, man. And I know that you can get through it. You're not going to do it alone. It's going to be hard, and you're going to have to do things you don't want to do. And I'm rooting for you, and I'm praying for you. And I love you, dude. God bless you, man.